Welcome back to CryptosRUs. I'm George. We're all George. So today we got to talk about some economic numbers that are driving the market up today. And that includes Bitcoin. Bitcoin inches higher. But the bigger story today, of course, is Coinbase, why they decided to shut down in Japan. What's that about? Let's talk about all these things and more. Good morning, guys. Welcome. The market bell has just rung. Uh-oh. Oh, boy. There we go. Best bell in the industry. So it looks like the U.S. market is opening in the green. The futures market was green. Hasn't updated yet. But we did get some economic numbers, including this right here. This is breaking news. Microsoft, one of the biggest tech companies on earth, has just laid off 10,000 employees. 10,000 employees, right? And Amazon last week declared they were laying off 18,000 employees. Of course, whenever there's job cuts, it's no good. But it's part of, unfortunately, what Fed Chair Powell wants to see. He has said many times in the past that he wants, I don't know if he wants, but he's expecting that unemployment will go up as jobs are cut, right? That's actually one of the three criteria he's looking at. And we're certainly seeing that, especially in big tech or tech in general. We're seeing massive amount of layoffs right now. But other things that are bad but is good for stocks, wholesale prices fell 0.5% in December. This is good. That means that prices of goods are going down, right? Other than probably like eggs. Eggs have gone up, but everything else has been coming down and more than expected. So that's actually really good. That shows that inflation is coming down. Also, retail sales slump at the end of 2022. That's also good. People are not buying as much, okay, which also helps prices go down. Again, these are slowness, softening that Fed Chair Powell wants to see, right? So we're seeing a lot of that. All this data that's coming out for December and last few months show that we are definitely going down. Again, softening, not crashing. That's what we want. We don't want a U.S. economy to crash, right? But, look at this. Mortgage demand jumps 28% in a week as interest rates start to drop, right? That's good. But I don't know. This is not helping the inflation thing because Powell does want to see prices of homes go down. He wants to see everything go down. Okay, basically prices, services, homes, rentals, and he wants to see jobs and wages also come down. So we're kind of seeing that. Which is why the U.S. market should be in the green right now, yes. And it's driving things higher because anticipation of this right here. We know that in a couple weeks we're going to have another rate hike. So what is Powell going to do, right? Because of all the softening data, the market is now predicting. I don't know if it's this dovish or this bullish, because he already stated he wants the Fed fund rate to be about 5.25%. And we're about 4.25%. Okay. So technically speaking, we got a ways to go, but because of the softening, now it's predicted that this next rate hike will only be 25 basis points, and then the one after that will be 25 basis points, and then he will stop altogether. And then we may see rate cuts later on this year, starting November. So that's kind of like the new market expectation. Is that reality? If so, that would be extremely, extremely bullish Okay? If we get in 2 weeks a 25 basis point hike rather than a 50, which was almost locked in stone after this last meeting, if we get that, man, and then he has more dovish language saying, well, we think this is correct. We're going to be very cautious with any rate hikes in the future, right? And March, we get another one or none at all in March as inflation numbers come down. Wow. Get ready. It's going to be absolutely explosive if that happens. So, quite good. UK inflation also drops for the second straight month, although inflation in the UK is still very high, 10.5%. Obviously much higher than us in the US, which is now 6.5%, right? So big difference. But in UK, it's a little bit different because of the closeness to the war, and energy prices are much higher. So there are those things. But still, coming down is good. Is good overall. What else is there? Citibank CEO says China opening up is good for the market too. Yeah, of course. With supply chain issues finally kind of settling down, right? With production from China increasing, right? This will also help curb inflation as we move forward. So, good stuff. What else? Well, what about this? Coinbase Halt operation in Japan, right? I don't know how many of you guys are watching me from Japan, but Japan operates a little bit differently. All exchanges that operate in Japan needs to have like a separate entity, separate balance sheet. It's kind of like cut off from the main corporation, right? So even like FTX Japan, which seems to be very solvent, and FTX is looking to sell FTX Japan, Coinbase operates the same way, and everyone else does. But because Coinbase recently had to lay off 20% of their staff, a lot of that staff was headquartered in Japan. So they made a tough decision to say, hey, it's just not worth it for us to operate. We are cutting back. In case you are in Japan, you have a deadline. Withdrawal for both fiat and crypto will be available until February 16th, okay? And customers will still be able to deposit fiat until January 20th. I'm not even sure why they're going to allow people to deposit for the next 2 days, but you have 2 more days for deposits, and then you have about a month where both fiat and crypto withdrawals will be stopped. I don't know what happens if you forget, but it's happening very, very, very soon, right? So does this mean, some of you guys may be wondering, well, does this mean Coinbase is in trouble? They're shutting down operations. Well, financially, I do think they're hurting right now, which is why they've been laying people off quite a lot. Their stock, even though it has staged a little bit of comeback because Bitcoin has started coming up, but still, their stock has been hammered like 80, 90% since its IPO. So financially, they're struggling a little bit, right? Probably not making nearly as many, collecting nearly as many fees as they used to when everyone's trading, much more. But I do think they're still one of the best in the industry, definitely the largest and most regulated in the U.S. And as the whole crypto market swings upwards, I think they'll be just fine. But right now, it does seem like financially they are hurting quite a lot. But you know who's not hurting is Binance. And Binance now just opens up in Poland. So any of you guys watching from Poland, it looks like you'll be able to trade in Binance. Okay, good overall. What about Bitcoin itself? Well, according to Plan B, the percent of Bitcoin in profit now has moved to the green dot. So why is that good? Well, the green dot first green dot means 70% of Bitcoin is in profit, but you could see all the previous bottoms that we had going all the way back to the very first drop back in 2012 or 2011, 2012. we always end the bottom with a blue dot, which is around 50% of Bitcoin in circulation being held in profit. And then we come up from there. We go into kind of like the teal and then green, right? And then we move up. Eventually, we hit a top to red, which is basically 100%. That's usually near tops. But right now, you can see a big flip from deep blue to green. A nice visual way to look at our recovery right now. Also, again, more fractal patterns comparing our reversal right now, what we're heading into. We're trying to break above this trend line, right? And if you see the previous 2 times when Bitcoin has broken out past that trend line, good things have happened. Very, very good things have happened, right? And we are right there. In fact, I think we have broken it. I think we have broken it already. So let me zoom out here. Do I have my trend lines? So I have this drawn in channel, but let's just say I'm pretty sure we have broken it, but barely. Yep, we did. We sure did right there. So, what happened after the last 2 times? Well, you could see hundreds of thousands of percent of gains afterwards. Good stuff. Good stuff. And in terms of long-term holders, I know almost everyone watching this right now is a long-term holder, but long-term holders now control 85% of Bitcoin. 85%. Very, very, very little of Bitcoin is out in circulation and being traded among retail investors. Almost all of it is being held by long-term holders. Fantastic. Fantastic stuff. All right. Bitcoin zooming in. We had a little excitement. We shot above 21.5. We came back down a little bit, but that's okay. It's a clear pattern right now, what's happening. We're trending upwards, slowly but surely, and we're actually forming new local tops. We just formed another one at 21.6, almost 21.7, right? We're still moving up in the right direction, and we're inching closer and closer and closer to 1 trillion in market cap. Could definitely happen, even within minutes during Q&A. All right, speaking of Q&A, let's do it. Lazy Fame, you're wrong. ETH has 50,000 nodes, not 4,300. So your numbers are off. Scrolling up here, let's see what I missed. Good morning, everyone. Good morning. Bitcoin sounds like a centralized network at 85% being held by long-term holders. But do you know how many people make up long-term holders? Not like it's just 2, okay? There's millions of people. Millions. That's like saying all Earthlings are 100% human. That sounds too centralized. It's just categorizing, okay? All right, let's see here. Scrolling. Good morning, everyone. Let's see. Japan's economy is about to collapse. I don't think that's the case. They are refusing to raise rates, though. Japan continues to refuse to raise rates for whatever notion they have. They just think that that is the best course of action. They rather let their currency devalue and inflation go up. They think that's a better option than raising rates and putting the economy into deflation, which they're very, very, very afraid of, because there has been decades where they have seen real deflation and has crippled their economy for a very long time. So I think that plays into it. But DXY is still coming down. DXY is still coming down regardless of the Japanese yen. So you can see now we are at 101, which is great. We were just at 102 the other day. We're on 1. We could fall below 100, and that is awesome. Hello from Poland. You have opinion only if you run your own node? Okay. What do you think about Gifto? I've given up on them a long time ago. Let's see here. Sid Michael, appreciate that. Paribus, Cardano-based NFT will be big. Okay, thank you for that. Can I borrow $10,000? No. Don't you think the main reason for cryptocurrency pumping up is because DXY didn't pass the 200-day moving average? No. But I do think DXY does play a part into it. Charting the DXY for me is like charting Bitcoin dominance. It's irrelevant. DXY is simply measuring the dollar versus other currencies. And it's not like I don't know how to explain it, but I just don't see it the same way. It doesn't operate the same way like stocks do or crypto does. So with that said, there is definitely a correlation. Whenever there is a fall in DXY, there's a rise in equities and crypto, right? So the fact that DXY is coming down and everything going up, I think there's a correlation there. Andrew says, I'm in Japan. Basically, no exchanges operate except like Bitflyer. Yeah, I'm not. I have no idea. I think I heard of Bitflyer before, but I had no idea about like the Asian exchanges. So the Korean ones like BitHum and what's the other one? They don't operate in Japan too? Now that Coinbase is gone, and Binance doesn't operate Japan, probably because of that rule that Japan has for separate entities. So I don't know if Binance will come out Binance.Japan or something like that. Hello from Amsterdam. Miles. No, you do what you want to do, Miles. Can't help you there. Can't help you there. BTC dominance is nonsense since the centralized scam coins value their market cap based on the whole supply, which is minted out of thin air. All right, okay, Lazy. You're very negative this morning. Okay, very, very negative, but okay. I'm just saying there's a great roll course, and I'm just saying there's a great deal of centralization in Bitcoin. Anyone who denies is sus. Miners, nodes, long-term holders, new buyers are dependent on the centralized Bitcoin framework. Of course they're dependent on the Bitcoin framework, but why does that make it centralized? Yeah, you could have large amount of people holding it, but that's with anything. You say you like Cardano. 78% of Cardano is being staked. So does that mean that Cardano is centralized just because a large amount is being staked? I mean, you could have large amounts of people holding that something. Doesn't make it centralized automatically. Now, back in the day, you could argue that Bitcoin was more centralized because most of the miners and mining pools operate in China. At one point, it was like 70 or 80%. So you could have made the argument then. But now that it's a lot more distributed, like 30% in North America and the rest spread across the world, you don't even have that argument. And Doge 256 says, I suppose centralized is a relative term, right? Yeah, it is, because also centralized is not just about holders and circulation. It's also about governance, right? Who's governing Bitcoin right now? No one. You have a few Bitcoin developers that's supporting it, and everyone has to approve the changes and upgrades, but there's no leadership. Cardano does. As much as Charles says he's not the leader of Cardano, he's definitely the face of Cardano, right? That's why he's working on trying to decentralize the governance of Cardano even more and trying to make it so that it is the most decentralized platform, chain or whatever out there, right? But there's a lot of forms of centralization. Jennifer asks, speaking of Cardano, why is Cardano sitting when everything else is moving? You know, Cardano does that. It has moved. It's just it hasn't moved as much as its peers, but I mean, it still moved. The last 7 days went up 13%. Last 30 days, 33%. Cardano just does that. It's just slow moving like a turtle, but you know how the saying goes. I feel like Aptos will explode in a bull run, 30x. Okay, if you think so. I don't know. I have no opinion on that opinion. Hey, look at this. What did I say? We were going to hit 1 trillion within minutes. We have. Look at that. Oh, shoot. Now we're a little bit below. We were just at 1 billion. 1 trillion, I should say. Dan, welcome. Joshua, man, you're shilling Doge Elon Mars too much in almost every stream. Cool it, man. I hate to see you not in the chat because of it. What price can be? BNB actually has been very stagnant. Someone, you know, for those of you guys that are complaining Cardano's not moving, BNB has really not been moving, right? Even though it's sitting at number 4, it's very big, but it really has not moved that much. About 9% this week and 22% in the last 30 days. Can I borrow 1 trillion? No. Matrix X AI, haven't heard of that project before. But there are a lot of AI plays right now. I don't think they have any involvement with ChatGPT, but there's a lot of speculation, a lot of enthusiasm with AI plays right now. So you do have a couple right now, or actually more than a couple, like 3 of them that are doing really well. They have been pumping up, and they're still relatively low. And I'm referring to Singularity.net, Fetch AI, and Ocean. They have been doing really well. I'm sure there's other AI plays, but because of Microsoft's big purchase of ChatGPT, a lot of people think that AI is definitely going to have a big year this year. Maybe there's some integration with these crypto companies. I don't know if that's really the case. Might the Voyager debacle represent a sort of involuntary hodl should crypto be returned to customers? Of course. After this whole thing gets settled with Binance.us purchasing them, they will give it back. I mean, that's the whole point. Otherwise, the regulators wouldn't even allow them to buy it. So that's kind of what's going on right now. Brilliant being. Ada takes the stairs up, then the elevator down. Let's see what else. Hello from Toronto. Welcome. $21 still hugging 21.4 right now. Slow baby steps upwards. Let's see. Market kind of... What's Tesla at this morning? Let's see. I had it up. Tesla's up. What the hell happened here? There we go. Tesla's only up slightly. 1.6%. It had a big day yesterday. Microsoft. What is going on, CNBC? Why is it not working? Microsoft up slight. Oh God. All right, let's do it. Let's try Market Watch instead. Let's see if Market Watch is better. Microsoft is up despite announcing they're laying off 10,000 people. What is Coinbase at? Coinbase having a good day. I'm sure, I don't know, like Mara. Oh, Mara's actually not up. Surprising. MicroStrategy up slightly. Bitcoin stocks had a big rise yesterday. Today, kind of halting a little bit, but you know, Bitcoin continues to go up. Entire crypto space has to be at 1 trillion. Yes, once again. Using my milestone chat to say, keep us in the game. Thanks for keeping us in the game, being level-headed. You're welcome. Next time you're in Toronto, hit up the Dance Cave Saturday night's best club in the world. I don't go to clubs, man. Too old for that. Did I ever look at Phantasma start NFTs? No, Phantasma. I remember that project. It was, well, it's like a L1, but more focused on NFTs and gaming and stuff like that, but have not paid attention to them for in a long, long, long time. I cannot dunk a basketball. Never been close. Never been really good at jumping. So that answers that. Even during my heydays, I was really good at rebounding. I was always good at rebounding and jumped up pretty quickly, but never could jump very high. Besides AI, what would be the next hot crypto category? Well, I've looked at this already. DeFi is definitely hot. DeFi metaverses actually went up first. So you could see metaverse, even if you go through, these lists are not 100% accurate. But if you look at metaverse plays, some of these guys, like Decentraland's up 111% in 30 days. Sandbox was 60, right? ApeCoin is in there. I don't know if ICP is in Metaverse, but they're listed in here. Metaverses went up tremendously. Also, DeFi, a lot of DeFi plays like Little up 120%, right? So Metaverse, DeFi, and if they had a separate category, AI also. These three categories are definitely leading the space right now. And I do think DeFi will only get stronger. Sometimes they're just very boring because they're just DEXs, basically. DEXs and liquidity pools. They're quite boring, but very useful. But they will get stronger because of less dependence on centralized exchanges and platforms. Metaverses, I think there's just, it's part of gaming. People are excited about it. And AI, I think, is really because of ChatGPT right now. Ooh. Almost back to 21.5 again. Nice. Have you considered any new sports cards since the market tanked? I've been looking. A lot of the high-end cards I hold have dropped like 50% too, at least. So I've been looking at some of the like the really high-end Jordan rookies or LeBron rookies, but they're still insanely high. But you could get like an 86 Flair Jordan, like a PSA 9 for only like, I think it was like down to like 18K, 15K. Once upon a time, even PSA 9s were like 30, 40K. The PSA 10s, they used to be at 500K. I think they have dropped to like below 200K. But still, more money than I want to spend right now. But, if the card market goes down more, the vintage cards will be good buys. Yeah. I've been also looking at a lot of Rolexes, but they haven't gone down that much. They have, but still above MSRP, which I don't like. But I've been watching all these guys trade watches on TikTok, and it just seems like the whole watch market is just one dealer to another. They're artificially inflating the price, but it's really addictive to see them haggle over Rolex prices. Really addictive. Mike George, because people have other interests other than crypto. Come on. Don't be a sourpuss. Okay? If people want to ask about cars and watches and other things, I don't mind because I like to talk about them. I do not collect Pokemon. I do not. Thoughts on the Porsche Panamera?
You get a first gen for 100K off sticker. Don't get a first gen. And don't get, I mean, Panameras, they look butt ugly. And I just say no. If you can, get a Taycan instead. Ryan, I do not. I do not, unfortunately. I would love to get a new E-Ray. I would love to get that someday. But right now, dealerships are still charging 50K above MSRP, so no thanks. I didn't try that dealership yet, Shafia. I have to call them and see. You said it's in Michigan, right? So I'm gonna have to do some Googling and see who is the largest GM dealership. Do I know of any AI projects on Coinbase? I think Fetch is on Coinbase. Oh wow, look at this, 21.5. Man, just a little uptick every single day. I believe we are 15 days now straight of greens. Can we count that? Let's just count it. Well, maybe we had a few days that kind of upset that, but it really depends. We'll just count those as a green. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. I mean, if you could go all the way down here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. It could be 18, depending on how these are measured. But in other graphs or other charts I've seen where it's, I think it's like 17, it was like 16, 17 days. Now it could be 18 days. Regardless, it's looking good. If we're counting weeks, three weeks for sure. Well, this week isn't over yet, so knock on wood. Jens, I appreciate that. Thank you. And I do what I can. Western Alpha, I've been watching your channel since 2021. Nice. That was during peak season, right? So I'm glad you're still here. I wonder how many of you guys would rather get the E-Ray versus the Z06. I don't know how many of you guys are car guys, but I'm going to put that as a poll. Start a poll. Which Corvette would you rather buy? Z06, E-Ray, and I'm just going to throw none. A Tesla. I'm curious. Well, Rolex models. I really like some of the higher end Daytonas, and I like the unique ones for Submariners. But I'm starting to get into the Master 2s because they have, like, you know, some cool colors. So I'm kind of getting into the, you know, those three. I don't like just like the Datejust. Like, they're too simple for me. I like a big bezel, you know. I really like I really wanted to get, and I'm glad I didn't because the price have dropped tremendously, the Daytona gold, pure gold with a green face. I don't think there's a specific name for that, but it's the prettiest watch. MSRP on that is like 45,000. And when I was looking at it when things were going up, it was like 65,000. Then
I saw a used one at a local store, and they were selling it for $96,000. And shortly after that, I saw on eBay it went up to like $125,000 at one point at peak. Okay, now I'm starting to see it down to like 70s. So it's still nowhere close to previous levels, but it's the prettiest watch. Pat, welcome. Wow. Based on the early votes, 50% say Z06, only 10% say E-Ray. I don't know if you guys realize the E-Ray is not pure EV. It's a hybrid. It has a normal Corvette engine plus electric engine, making it all-wheel drive. And the performance is about the same as the Z06, but I'm actually surprised that more people didn't pick E-Ray, but all right. The Panda Daytonas are also really nice. Just pure white and black. I think that's really, really clean. All right, guys. That is it. Let's conclude. We're at 21.5. The entire market cap is above 1 trillion. Awesome. U.S. market still looking weak, but NASDAQ is going up. Bitcoin is the leading indicator right now of tech. That's for sure. We got some economic data. So can we see some dovishness from Powell in a couple weeks? Well, people think so based on economic data. And Coinbase unfortunately will shut down in Japan soon. So if you're in Japan, you better look for another exchange. All right. Have a good one, guys. I will see you tonight, 8:30 p.m. Central Standard Time. Have a good one. Take care. Bye-bye.